6 years since Natalie Portman won the Oscar for her role in Black Swan, and now she's attracting more Oscar buzz for her portrayal of Jackie Kennedy in the movie Jackie.
The film's directed by Pablo Larrain, taking a look at the more personal and private side of the First Lady following the assassination of her husband in November 1963.
Recently, we had the pleasure to sit down with the actress and director to talk about the film.
You ready?
Of course. I love crowds.
Mrs. Connolly?
Yes, welcome to Dallas, darling.
I was telling you, I grew up in Texas, and I remember moving to the Northeast for the first time in Philadelphia, and people said, "You're from the place that killed our president." And that was, you know, years later, the impact of all of it still so fresh. What type of pressure were you under to capture Jackie Kennedy?
Well, I think she does represent so much to the American people, of course, her and JFK. And so, of course, you want to do them justice. But also you're trying to portray human beings, so I think that was nice about the approach, that it was trying to look at them as people, not as icons.
But yeah, Pablo, this is your first English-speaking film that you're directing, and you pick a topic that is, as Natalie said, so iconic to us in this country. Did that add a little extra pressure to it?
Well, yeah, it's a lot of pressure, but it's a beautiful opportunity to focus on a woman, on a first lady, on a mother, and someone who's so iconic for the rest of the world.
And that was so humanizing, Natalie, the scene, and I don't want to give everything away here, but there was a shower scene, and I told you watching the film, I started crying. It was the most humanizing portrayal of this woman we all are convinced we know so well.
Well, I think that was something that was so interesting about the approach of the movie, that it takes place in this short, condensed period right after the assassination, because we know the assassination so well, but we don't think of those moments of, like, she had to wash the blood off of her after. You don't think about that. Or Pablo, I remember when we were making it, was saying, what was it, 7-minute ride to the hospital or something?
Yeah, 6.5.
6.5 minutes. What was that like? For 6.5 minutes must have felt like an eternity.
From the moment of the bullet until they got to Parkland, to the hospital, was more than 6 minutes. It's a life, you know.
You know, this is a special movie for us, besides the fact that you've done such a great job, both of you, but our executive producer, Noah Oppenheim, wrote the script. And what I was struck by watching this, I mean, this is this woman that is so famous, and yet we know really, in a sense, so little about her, but yet those 7 days showed her to be so much, including probably one of the first people who was cognizant of her brand and branding her Camelot and all that went with it.
Absolutely, and it's really impressive to see someone then who was thinking so much about their image, even in a moment when they're, I mean, impressive because she knew how much the image meant to the entire nation and how much it meant symbolically and how much it meant for national identity, what she would construct even at this really terrible moment for her.
Do you ever think, what would she think of your portrayal?
Oh, I'd be terrified. I'd be terrified. I have a lot of reverence for her, and I think, you know, we're not presenting this as a history book. It's not a documentary. It's definitely a lot of imagination involved.
It's an amazing film, and Jackie hits select theaters tomorrow.
All right, and hello Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.